Okay, so today we will start with the energy resources. So I hope all of you have joined.
65 around.
Ma'am, can you please wait for 2 to 3 minutes? Like some students are joining, they had class before.
Okay. I can wait. So okay, we will start at 3:05 then.
Okay.
Yes, Yashwant.
मैम मैं ये पूछना चाह रहा था कि आपने जो असाइनमेंट क्रिएट किया है उसमें
Okay.
इंस्ट्रक्शन में क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ है कि 6 क्वेश्चन में एनी 4 तो
No,
एनी 4
it's good that you reminded me of the assignment. So as for your EVS assessment, so there are two things which we will do. One, I will give you an assignment, and the second would be the test. So for the assignment, I have given you the previous year's question paper. So it has 6 questions in it, and you have to perform all the questions. So you have to answer all the questions, and then you have to submit this assignment by the date assigned. So it is 12th June, I guess.
यस मैम
So you have to submit it by 12th June.
ओके मैम यही पूछना
And we,
था
we
थैंक्स मैम
have to attempt all 6 questions instead of
Yes,
4.
all 6 questions, and remember that you have to maintain the word limits. So your examinations will be like last year. I think it would be open book exam only, if at all. I'm not sure about it. So it will give you a good practice to uh, answer these types of questions.
Ma'am,
So
as you mentioned that we can use either English or Hindi language for our assignment, then मैम हम एग्जाम में भी कर सकते हैं क्या ये? या हिंदी में या इंग्लिश में?
I will just check this and let you know that can you give assignment in Hindi. So I'm not sure about it, but I will let you know in the next class.
Okay, ma'am.
But I think in exams you have a choice. आपके पास choice होती है कि questions are given in Hindi also. So I'll just confirm once and then I will let you know.
Okay, ma'am.
And
Yes.
those questions who don't mention any word limit then.
So आपने देखा होगा क्वेश्चन पेपर 75 मार्क्स का है, तो 75 को आप 6 से डिवाइड करो, तो उस मार्क्स के अकॉर्डिंग आपको वो आंसर लिखना है.
Okay.
And remember, read the question carefully and it should answer all the points. So सारे points cover करने हैं. Yes, Umesh, you are having another doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, I want to ask you that do we have to answer all the questions in one single PDF, or like exams we have to do like a different PDF for different answers?
So it would be better that if all the answers are in a single PDF. So it would be better for evaluation. When I will evaluate, I will have all the answers on a single document.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So should I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Zoology and physics, I hope most of you have joined.
Yes, ma'am.
Around 100. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So today we are beginning. Wait, I'll just share my slides. So today we are beginning the energy resources. So it is a part of the unit 3. So in this unit, you have covered natural resources. So you might have studied about the water resources in your previous classes, the land resources. So all these I'm sure these have been covered. Water and land. So now moving on
Yes,
to
ma'am.
energy resources. So when we talk about energy resources, so I would like to give you a broad overview what all things we will study in this subtopic of Unit 3. So obviously, we will discuss about the renewable energy resources. We will discuss about the non-renewable energy resources. So we will discuss about the types of non-renewable and renewable energy resources in detail. So how the mechanisms work, what all machinery we have, and how do we harness the energy. So we will understand all those systems in details. So once we have discussed the non-renewable and renewable energy resources, so we will focus upon the use of alternative energy resources. So why do we need alternative energy resources, and what can be good sources of generating these alternate energy sources? And we will also discuss the growing energy needs, and then we will discuss the energy contents of coal, petroleum, natural gas, and biogas. And then we will also look upon biomass energy. So in that biomass energy, we will see how potential are agro residues in generating energy. So इस यूनिट में हमें यही पढ़ना है. So these are the main things which we will cover. So coming to energy. So what do you understand by energy? So this term was coined by a scientist, Thomas Young. And what do you mean by energy? So it is the ability,
Capacity to do work.
capacity to do work. So
Work.
if you want to sustain the ecosystems, or if you want to carry out your daily activities, you need energy. Either you are a living system or a non-living system, you require energy. So energy is present everywhere. So we as humans, we derive our energy from the food we eat. So once we eat food, we are capable to perform work. So same way, energy is also required if we want to travel, if we want to run any kind of industry. So if you are thinking about of productivity, you need energy. So basically, energy is governed by two broad laws. So the first one is obviously we have been studying these from our junior classes. So the first universal rule is
Law of conservation.
Energy can neither be created nor be
energy
destroyed.
can neither be created nor destroyed,
Destroyed.
but it can change form. तो जब हम एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज बड़े पढ़ेंगे तब हम इस चीज पे बहुत फोकस करते हैं कि हम एक फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी से दूसरी फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी कैसे प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज ऑल बेस्ड अपॉन changing energies, so changing forms of energies. So the second law states that this conversion is not 100% efficient. So there will be always a loss of energy when it will change forms. So basically we have to balance between the two rules if we want to generate efficient sources of energy. So these are the universal laws, and these are forming the basis of whatever systems we are studying in energy generation. So now this slide shows you a global consumption of energy. So it is not surprising to see that 40% of energy is consumed by the industry. So obviously industries are needed if we want to produce equipments ranging from daily activities to space stations. So we need industries for each and everything. So that is why industries are taking up 40% of our energy demands. So then after industries, we have domestic and some small commercial businesses which are taking up energy. And then 24% of energy is being used in transportation. So rapid globalization is only occurring due to efficient transportation. So we can export goods, we can import goods. So we require energy for that also. And the remaining energy is clubbed under other uses, which also includes agriculture. So agriculture is very important. So our country is 60%, almost 60% agrarian economy. So agriculture is a very dominant sector. So for irrigation, for plowing our fields, for planting crops, everything requires energy. So that is also taking up energy resources. So you can see from this table that energy is very important if we want to sustain the entire ecosystem and human life. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
so it is very obvious that the needs of energy will grow. We are
Yes, ma'am.
So our population is increasing day by day. So when our population will increase, obviously our demands will increase. So चाहे वो food का demand हो या फिर normal चीजों का demand हो, so everything will increase. And also if we want to sustain ourselves properly, then we need more and more energy. So that is why we have to look up for the energy sources. So energy is a sign of nation development also. So the more energy you have, the more productive you are. So this is at the micro levels. अगर आप एक human हो, so if you are putting more energy in your work, then obviously you will be having a lot of productivity and you will excel. So likewise, if you extend it to macro levels, if you are a nation, if you show more productivity, then you will develop. So growing energy needs are, you can say, an index of nation development, and these needs will grow. So if we see, then energy is basically produced from two types of resources. So one are the conventional and the other one is the non-conventional. So conventional में majorly fossil fuels आते हैं, and in the non-conventional resources we have those alternative sources of energy which just supplement the demands of energy. So it is not always possible that we can use conventional resources each time. So because they have their limitations. So all these things we will discuss in the subsequent slides. So it is expected that the global energy needs will rise steadily in the next 2 decades and a half. So our populations are increasing, our demands are increasing, so energy will definitely increase. So it is known that when we see an index, so which is according to World Energy Outlook's reference scenario, then the energy needs of the world would be 50% higher in 2030 than today. So the annual growth rate would be 1.6%. So India, if we come to India scenario, then it is among the fastest growing markets, being a developing country. So it is expected to be the second largest contributor of increase in the global energy demands. So our population is also very high and our markets are also growing. So we will contribute to more increase in global energy demands. So that is why we have to manage our energy resources very well. So we have to use it sustainably. I hope all of you understand what do I mean by sustainable use of energy.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
If you can explain.
Ma'am,
ma'am.
using resources in
Sustainable
such a
use
way
is
that they
like
do not get
One by one, one by one.
ma'am, using resources in a judicious and planned manner so that we do not exploit and are in a danger of using them all up or ending them, and there is some left for the future generations, and
Yes.
also for the ecosystem to function as it was earlier.
So you can just say that there should be a balance between its replenishment and its use.
Consumption.
So there should not be an over exploitation of the resources, and we are also making sure that we are leaving some of the resources for the future generations. Okay.
Yes,
So, moving on further, so what are the major reasons for these growing energy demands? So, obviously, globalization. So, if we want to practice trade, then we have to import and export, and for that, we require transportation. And transportation is also required for daily base work. So, that is why globalization, since population is increasing, so globalization is increasing. So that is one of the reason for energy demand. Then second one is obviously the industrialization. So our industries are growing at a much faster pace. So the demands for raw materials and also for energy would be increasing. Then increasing wealth in energy markets. So when there will be more wealth, there will be economic growth, then there will be increased energy demand and consumption. So this goes hand in hand. So you have more money, you will have more consumption, and you will have an increased energy demand. So anyone has a question over here? Any doubt?
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask that how increase in economy is directly proportional to increase in energy consumption or energy demand. मतलब
See,
कैसे वो
if your economy is increasing, then obviously you are flourishing in your trade and things related to it. So if you are flourishing in your trade, then you have to generate more resources. So when you have to generate more resources, then your energy demand will increase. So it is
Yes, ma'am.
basically dependent upon generation as well as consumption. So all these factors are covered in these. Then obviously the last point is rapid growth of human population. So growing human population is over exploiting all the resources. So it is also putting up a lot of pressure on the energy resources. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now that we have seen what is the energy scenario in the world and in our country, and what are the possible threats we have if we see the increase in demand of energy, how it can affect life quality or maybe the development of the nation. So now we come to the major sources of energy that we have. So it is broadly categorized into non-renewable and renewable resources, and we have other names for it also. So since it is non-renewable, it is also known as exhaustible, and if it is renewable, then inexhaustible. So renewable energy generally non-conventional होती है और non-renewable जो है वो conventional होती है. Conventional we have two types: fossil fuels and nuclear power. So these are the two major conventional sources of energy. And when we come to non-conventional, so we have solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectric energy, hydrogen, ocean, geothermal, and biomass. So all these are the natural resources of energy, and we will discuss each one of them in detail. So we will discuss both these resources. एक system को हम detail में पढ़ेंगे, and the ocean energy is further divided into ocean waves, tidal, and thermal energy. So what are the alternative sources of energy? So ये तो हमने पढ़ा conventional है, non-conventional है. So what are the alternate source of energy? So can anyone define the alternative sources of energy? What do you think the term alternative means?
मैम इट मींस
Alternative
एंड सम alternate for anything means अगर वो चीज अवेलेबल नहीं है तो कोई अदर चीज उसके बिहाफ पे ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ अदर थिंग
उसको
Exactly.
कंजर्व करने के लिए बेसिकली हम एक ऑल्टरनेटिव यूज करते हैं ताकि वो बेसिकली कंजर्व हो जाए फॉर फ्यूचर जनरेशन आल्सो.
Yes. Yes. So Sharan and Swapnil, so they are absolutely right that the term alternative means which is not the conventional. जो अब तक यूज हो रहा है वो नहीं, but we have something in our something in our reserve, and we will bring out that reserve when the conventional thing is at risk. So we all know that fossil fuels, which are the conventional sources of energy, they take a lot of time to form. So that is why they do not get replenished very easily, and they will get exhausted. So being one of the most efficient sources of energy, so fossil fuels are being used rampantly. So बहुत ज़्यादा use हो रहा है उनका, but then उतना वो बन नहीं रहे. So there a time will come that Earth will be devoid of the fossil fuel, so they will get exhausted. So now after so many years of research and thinking and everything, we have come to a consensus that we need something, some alternative source of energy, so that we can use our conventional energy resources sustainably. So we have to leave it for future generations also. इसीलिए to fulfill those demands, we are now looking on the alternative resources of energy. So this is what is explained in this slide, that these energy resources are alternatives to the fossil fuels. These are alternatives to the conventional energy resources. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now coming on to renewable energy resources. So what do you understand by renewable energy resources? So these energy resources, so these are present in abundance. So this is present naturally, if we say in the ecosystem, and if we see in different countries. So we have our natural resources. So these resources, they get replenished. So their rate of replenishment is either higher or equal to the rate of their consumption. So that is why they are in the continuous supply. So these resources are generally wind, water, air, sun. So all these supplies are in abundance. So these are the renewable energy resources. So we have solar energy, we have wind energy, then we have ocean energy, geothermal energy. Even we can utilize the urban waste to produce energy. So we can use agricultural waste and so on. So all these are the renewable energy resources. So we have one major advantage of renewable energy resources, and that advantage is that it is non-polluting. So it is a very, very clean fuel as compared to the fossil fuels or the conventional energy resources. So it is a rule that you cannot just focus on any one resource of energy. You have to mix and match according to your conditions, and then you have to decide which energy system you are going to use. So it is good that you are using more of renewable energy resource, but sometimes you have to also think in terms of the efficiency. तो अगर हम दोनों एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज को कंपेयर करें तो कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज ज़्यादा एफिशिएंट होते हैं. So they produce more amount of energy and in using very, very small quantities. So they are very efficient as compared to the non-renewable resources. But that does not mean that we will not use renewable energy. So we have to mix and match it, and we have to create a balance so that we can sustainably use all our energy resources. So now the key to development in the present decade is sustainability. So this is what we have to look into. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So briefly discussing the advantages and disadvantages. So I have put this much information because previously many students have asked for the slides to be informative. So it is also easier for you people to understand. So are you okay with this kind of PPT?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
So advantages of renewable resources are, so first of all, abundance. So it is naturally available. It is free to use. Then
Actually,
it is, yes,
I have a question, ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, we are saying that renewable sources of energy are green. They are eco-friendly.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Then the cost of the raw material that we are used to build the dams and solar power plants, they are actually come from the fossil fuels. So directly or indirectly, renewable sources are interlinked with fossil fuels. And we are,
So
if we are trying to build renewable sources, we are indirectly using fossil fuels. Then how it can be a renewable source of energy when we are using fossil fuels to build renewable source of energy?
so you are getting mixed between the two things. So obviously there will be uh, interdependence will always be there in energy resources. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक obviously the first law के according energy, we cannot build energy, right? So we have to use our resources to generate another resources. So likewise, if we want to use, see, renewable resources of energy are not that efficient, so we have to have systems for harnessing them. अब वो system बनाने में obviously we will require energy, but then just think of, if you have developed those systems, then they can work efficiently to generate energy, to uh, be as a source of alternative energy. So and when they are serving as an alternative source of energy, then they are producing less pollution. So they are comparatively green to the fossil fuels. So it is all, if we see these things, this is all in terms of a comparison. So no thing is ट्रांसपेरेंट ऐसे, मतलब कि कोई ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट चीज नहीं है कि हाँ ये पूरी तरह से इको फ्रेंडली होगा या ये पूरी तरह से पॉल्यूशन नहीं करेगा. सो यू हैव टू कंपेयर इट, and then you have to analyze, and then you have to come to a conclusion. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear. So obviously I understand setup costs are high, but once we have set it up, then obviously it will be producing energy. So supplement to karega hi na conventional energy resources ko. So that
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
main
One-time
point.
investment.
Yeah. So not only one time expenditure, but sometimes you have to repair it also. So all those recurring costs also you have to keep in mind. So I will discuss all these points. So हम एक एक system clearly पढ़ेंगे. Then we will understand which alternative energy resource is much better than, or it is not that advantageous. So we will always do a comparative assessment. But अगर हम pollution की बात करें तो obviously renewable resources of energy are not generating much pollution. So you can take up the example of solar energy. So solar cells. So these are now widely being used in our country. So it is assisting the energy needs. So it is fulfilling the energy needs. So it is also contributing. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So they are green, they are eco-friendly, they reduce the carbon emissions. So these energy resources make us self-reliant, and we are not much so that we are not much dependent on energy supplies from outside. If we develop such kinds of system, then obviously it will be very good for our country. And then renewable resources, these they cost less than consuming the local electric supply. So once they have been set up, then it is so. And then if we are making up renewable energy resources, we are making those plants, those thermal plants or those solar cells, so we are creating new job opportunities in our country. So that is also an added advantage. So we are technologically growing, and we are providing livelihood to a lot of people. So everything has advantages as well as disadvantages. So now coming to the disadvantages of the renewable sources of energy. So this we had discussed a few minutes back that its cost of initial investment is high, and it is depending upon the source of energy we are using, उसके ही according उसके plants का cost होगा. And not only initial cost of investment, but we can add to these the recurring costs which we spend in repair and maintenance. And sometimes these renewable energy resources are not reliable, sorry. So they are non-available. So best example we can take here is solar light. So it is present during the day and it is not present during the night, and during the rainy season also it is affected. So these renewable energy resources are non-renewable sometimes. So we have to carefully research on those areas जहाँ पे इनका continuous supply हो, and then we have to set up the plants. So this is basically more important when we are when we want to harness the wind energy. So we have to see where is the continuous supply of wind, what is the rate of flow of wind, तभी हम वहाँ पे windmill का farm लगा सकते हैं. So these are all disadvantages. And the third major disadvantage is that, so if you want to set up a renewable energy resource plant, then you need land resource. And when you require land resource, obviously there will be a loss of biodiversity, there will be deforestation, there will be habitat fragmentation, and there will be a change in the ecosystem. So ecosystem will get affected. So this is the main disadvantage. So you are not creating pollution, but again, you will have to cause changes to the ecosystem. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are non-renewable energy resources? So non-renewable energy resources are those resources which are present in finite quantities on the earth. So they will not be replenished. So either not be replenished or their rate of replenishment is very low. So when their rate of replenishment is low, then they are consumed at much faster. So what will happen in that case? There will be a scarcity of these resources. So that is why they are not renewable. So they are not able to renew themselves in quick or in quick intervals of time. So that is why we call them as non-renewable resources of energy. So we have several advantages and disadvantages of this energy form also. So the advantages advantages majorly include their efficiency. So these are very efficient energy resources. They are very easy to use. इसके लिए ऐसे कोई power plant नहीं बनाना पड़ता. So you can readily burn them and you can derive energy out of them. And then they are very cheaper to use. So their efficiency is high and their their requirement cost is low. Clear? And since they are very efficient, so they release great amount of energy from small amount of the resources being used. So resource load is low here. But the only disadvantage is that they will end one day. So this controls their price, and again when the prices come into picture, then it will affect the economy. And the other disadvantage is that it is polluting the environment. So it releases toxic gases. So coal say generally sulfur gases are released. So these pollute the atmosphere, it pollutes the hydrosphere, and it pollutes the lithosphere. So all the three spheres of the ecosystems are polluted due to using these resources of energy. So once you have pollutants in the air, so when there will be precipitation, then these pollutants will leach down into the groundwater, it will contaminate the soil, and when they will get drained into water bodies, it will lead to the pollution of the water bodies. So it is affecting ecosystem. So it is affecting, it is degrading the quality of our air, water and land. So now we will discuss renewable energy resources in detail. So coming to the first one, so which is the solar energy. And we all know that sun is the continuum of energy on the earth. So almost it is a very, very abundant source of energy on the earth. So almost all energy resources are dependent on sun. So either directly they are dependent or maybe indirectly. So if we see the supply of energy in the ecosystem, it is again through sun. How it is through sun? If we see supply of energy in the ecosystem,
Plants.
exactly. Yeah, so it is the plants. If we see the grazing food chain, जो आपने पिछले classes में पढ़ा होगा, then the producers, the green plants, they fix the energy of the sun into glucose. So they photosynthesize. So we have the raw materials for it, the inorganic raw materials, and those raw materials include water, carbon dioxide, and these two inorganic materials in presence of solar energy, they get converted into glucose in the green plants. So this is known as photosynthesis. So this here it is that the energy is first fixed in the ecosystem. Then we have subsequent. Yes.
मैम आपने बोला कि नॉन रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज का मतलब कि वो एक दिन खत्म हो जाता है
Yes.
और रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज कंटिन्यूअसली यूज कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
सोलर एनर्जी को हम लोग रिन्यूएबल बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन सन भी तो एक दिन खत्म हो जाएगा, तो फिर वो रिन्यूएबल कैसे होगा?
So अभी सन को खत्म होने में
सन
बहुत
कब खत्म हो जाएगा?
I know sun is a star and it is, I think, in the middle stages.
And it is also उसका भी फ्यूल तो खत्म ही हो रहा है.
See, you have to think like this. If there will not be sun, there will not be any life on earth. So it will be again, the entire system will crash. So when the entire system will crash, then there will be nobody left to use the resources.
Yes, ma'am.
So जब तक
तो
sun है,
मैम
तब
उसको
तक हमारी needs
रिन्यूएबल
है.
हम लोग कैसे करें?
हाँ?
और मैम जब तक तो हम आर्टिफिशियल सन क्रिएट कर लेंगे.
नाइस पॉइंट मैम.
Maybe we are technologically advancing and we are also looking at other planets. So we will come up with something.
Ma'am, there is one more. And there is one more point here कि सन हमारे यूज से तो खत्म नहीं हो रहा ना, लेकिन फॉसिल फ्यूल्स हमारे यूज से खत्म हो रहे हैं.
Exactly. Very good.
Ma'am.
Yes.
It says the sun is considered to be the ultimate source of energy for all other forms of energy, but that's not true for nuclear energy, because we're getting uranium and then we're making, we're having the nuclear reaction, but that's technically not related to the sun. Although sun itself, ironically, is a nuclear reaction, but on Earth we can't say that the nuclear reaction is related to solar energy.
Yeah, it is not so. But then sun is obviously regulating all the processes of earth. So obviously if it is regulating the processes of earth, then it is also regulating the temperature and pressure when these rocks are formed. And so radioactive materials are also present in the earth's crust only, no? So वो temperature और pressure changes कहाँ से आते हैं? वो sun से ही आते हैं. Sun is modulating. So directly or indirectly, it is linked to sun. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It is regulating the entire climate. So everything is dependent upon the environmental conditions. So that is how sun is playing a major role. So what is the source of energy in the sun?
Nuclear fusion.
Nuclear
Fusion.
Nuclear fusion reaction.
You can define nuclear fusion, मतलब बिल्कुल ऐसे proper scientific terminology में.
हिंदी में, इंग्लिश में.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Anyone?
मैम atomic nuclei fuses to form a different bigger nuclei.
Yeah, so small atomic nuclei.
So unstable nuclei, basically, when unstable nucleus combine to form a bigger nuclei, and which produces enormous amount of heat
Enormous energy.
Amount of heat, yes, energy and heat.
So sun has a lot of energy because of this important nuclear reaction, which we term as nuclear fusion. So the earth space, it receives nearly 1.4 kilojoules per second per meter square of solar energy, and it is enormous. So sun's energy is available, but how will you harness it? क्योंकि ये renewable energy resource है, तो हमें कोई ना कोई तरीका ढूंढना पड़ेगा to use it. So we have ways for it, and these ways are categorized into different groups. And the first one is the passive solar heating. इसमें कुछ नहीं है, इसमें just you are using the sun's energy as it is. So you are not requiring any mechanical device to distribute. You are just using sun's energy as it is. So you can use insulators in your houses so as to harness those energy, harness that sun's energy. So this can also be utilized in different times of seasons, in different times of the days. So it is simply using the sun's energy. So if you want to dry clothes, then you just go to the terrace and just hang the clothes there. So directly you are using the sun's energy. So it is just passive solar heating. So this is the main example of passive solar heating. So you are just using sun's energy as it is. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
coming to
Yes,
second
ma'am.
category. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? Okay. So coming to the second category, which is the active solar heating. तो हम यहाँ पे we are using a series of collectors. So can you all see this diagram? So you have solar
Yes,
collector.
ma'am.
In that there are mechanisms to use to collect solar energy, and then you are just utilizing this energy to, for example, heat water. So this is the principle of solar geysers. So you can use these geysers, you can set up and use at your homes. So you can just meet the needs of domestic supply of hot water through these solar heaters, so solar geysers. So this is a system of active solar heating. So इसमें भी आप sun का energy directly use कर रहे हो, but you are collecting it. So this is the other method. Now coming to the third category, which is the solar thermal electricity generation. So here also you will concentrate the sun's energy by using either mirrors or lenses, and then you will generate a lot of heat, and that heat will be used to, what it will do, it will
Evaporate
heat
water.
the fluid. So that fluid can be water or anything else. So when you will heat the fluid, then it may either produce steam, or it may be used directly to rotate the turbine. So when the turbine rotates, it generates electricity. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now coming to another method of harnessing solar energy. So can you see the evolution from passive to active? Then we have used a system of mirrors, and now we are coming to the photovoltaics. So who will tell me what is a photovoltaic method, if you know?
I'm using
So,
light or using sunlight basically to generate electricity
so
or
yeah,
voltage.
photo means sunlight and voltaic means electricity. So you are just using sun's energy to produce electricity.
Ma'am,
We are not
you are
audible.
not audible.
Yes, ma'am, I think your voice has.
आवाज नहीं आ रही मैम आपकी. Audible, audible, no audible.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
मैम का नेटवर्क चला गया मुझे लगता है.
वॉइस पे ब्रेक हो रही थी शायद आपकी बहुत बार.
अभी बीच में भी वॉइस ब्रेक हो रही थी.
करोगे तो यार.
लैग आता था.
शरण, तो ये पैसिव एक्टिव ये टाइम पीरियड साथ चेंज होता गया ना, ये बताया ना हमने कि टाइम के साथ पैसिव था फिर एक्टिव हो गया फोटोवोल्टिक, ये कह रही थी ना.
हाँ यही बता रही थी.
एवोल्यूशन होता है, मतलब एक मतलब छोटे स्टेप से बड़े स्टेप पे आ गए.
राहुल क्या बोल रहा था, सूरज खत्म हो जाए, सूरज.
हाँ तो खत्म नहीं हो जाएगा क्या सूरज?
अरे तो ऐसा थोड़ा ना कि हम उसकी धूप लेंगे तो वो छोटा हो गया, कि तुमने कपड़े सुखाए तो सूरज का साइज घट गया.
तो सर सिर्फ एनर्जी का यूज हम उसमें करते हैं.
लेकिन राहुल जब सूरज खत्म हो गया तब तू भी खत्म हो जाएगा.
चलो वो बात तो अलग है, बट अगर देखा जाए तो
50 साल में
हमारे
राहुल
सूरज तो अपनी एनर्जी दे ही रहा है, हमारे कहने से थोड़ा खत्म हो रहा है.
राहुल फ्यूचर का सोच रहा है भाई.
अरे स्वप्निल ये चैनल कैसे चेंज कर दिया रे?
भाई राहुल तो साइंटिस्ट है, फिर लॉन्ग टर्म में सोचेगा फ्यूचर के लिए.
चैनल का क्या मतलब है, चैनल का क्या मतलब है?
जैसे टीम ईवीएस का, टीम्स के ऊपर ईवीएस का एक था ना, अब इसमें ये जो जेड ओ यानी जो वगैरह से आ रहा है कुछ.
हाँ वो कुछ हुआ होगा.
अरे वो टीम से चेंज हो
और यार
गया.
टाइम भी चेंज हो गया क्या? अपना टाइम भी चेंज हो गया.
टाइम थोड़ा सा चेंज हो गया. ये क्लैपिंग कौन कर रहा है?
तो ग्रुप वगैरह में डालना यार वो टाइम
एक
वगैरह.
मिनट कुलदीप,
यस
टाइम टेबल आया था.
कुलदीप मौर्य कुछ बोलना चाहता है.
Am I
Yes ma'am.
Yes ma'am, you are audible now.
Sorry, there was
No problem ma'am.
okay. So do you have any doubts?
No
ma'am.
No ma'am.
Okay. So we were discussing the solar cells and we were focusing on photovoltaic mechanism. So can anyone explain me what is photovoltaic mechanism? So we are just
simply showing the screen is not being displayed.
Okay, screen is not visible. Okay, wait, I'll just. Yeah, now it's visible.
Yeah, yes ma'am.
Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am.
So in photovoltaic systems, we are just simply converting sunlight to electricity. So we use some materials which can absorb sunlight and can generate electrons. So either they can give up electrons or they can absorb electrons. So depending upon the type of the process, you can either use metals or non-metals. So then when there is but ultimately there should be a flow of electrons. So when there will be a flow of electrons, obviously there would be electricity. So this is the basic principle which is exploited in solar cells, and this is the photovoltaic mechanism. So
excuse me ma'am.
Yes.
This generate ये इलेक्ट्रॉन को जनरेट नहीं करता है, बस इलेक्ट्रॉन को एनर्जी प्रोवाइड कर देता है, काइनेटिक
It
एनर्जी.
is not generating electrons. It is actually the electrons, they come in a flow. So there is a flow of electrons.
मैम आपने बोला जनरेट कर देता है.
No, I said generate electricity. Generates flow of electrons, generates electricity. Okay?
Okay ma'am. Yes ma'am.
Okay ma'am.
So this is an example of photovoltaic panels. you can see how efficiently this is being utilized. So you can, so these panels, they are serving two purposes. One, they can generate electricity being solar cells, and second, they are being so they are serving as a shade to the parking lots. So it is a very intelligent system. So we have to look upon such systems if we want to use our resources judiciously. So
गुड मॉर्निंग
what
मैम
are the
मैम आज क्लास थी क्या
आया विकास।
हेलो
Good afternoon.
गुड आफ्टरनून वो मैम आज क्लास थी क्या मैम मेरे
Yeah.
कैलेंडर में शो ही नहीं हुआ मैम
गुड आफ्टरनून विकास।
Okay.
Follow.
Okay. So note down that from the next time
गुड
you
मॉर्निंग गुड
have a
मॉर्निंग
class
ऐसा
3 to 4.
ऐसा मैम कैलेंडर में मैम शो ही नहीं हो रहा था
विकास लिंक
You are
भेजा तो
added
था
in
तेरे
the
पास।
हाँ
Okay,
मैम
no more
इनमें से कोई
disturbance. No more disturbance. Please maintain silence. So, okay. Now you will tell me. ज़्यादा बातें करने का मन है ना. So please tell what are the advantages of solar energy.
बताओ भाई
What are the advantages?
It is comparatively pollution free.
Ma'am, board.
Yes.
Sorry.
It,
So
एक बार
इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल्स
इंस्टॉलेशन के बाद फ्री की पड़ती है मैडम बिल्कुल, और ऊपर से जहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं पहुंच पाती वहां भी पहुंच जाती है सोलर एनर्जी।
yeah, so you can always use them in the remote and isolated areas where there is no power supply, and solar energy systems, they have a lifespan of about 30 to 40 years. So once you have installed them, then you can use them for longer durations. So this is a renewable resource of energy, and it is actually a cleaner source of energy, so its use must be encouraged. Yes.
Ma'am, your screen is not visible.
What?
Ma'am, your screen is not visible.
Yeah, I'm not showing the slide.
मैम विजिबल है इट इज विजिबल
No, I'm not sharing the slide right now. So what are the disadvantages of solar energy? So this is a very general thing, so I want you all to interact.
स्टोरेज बहुत एक्सपेंसिव होता है। इट्स वेरी
Very
Exactly.
expensive.
Ma'am, also it depends upon the sources availability also. Like in
और मैम हवा में उड़ जाती है तो
it is highly dependable. For example,
अभी कल परसों
in
अनिकेत
rainy
की हुई।
season
Wait,
it will
wait,
be
wait. Raise up your hands if you want to answer. One by one. Or else I will take. Yeah, yes, Swapnil.
ma'am, the foremost reason is that expensive or cost. You can say that its cost is very high of installation and storage also.
Yes.
And secondly, it is highly dependable on rainy season. Whenever we see that if rainy season will be there, then we have to face several problems because it don't have such much capacity to store energy.
Yes. So it is in a way
थोड़ी
you
धीमे
can say
धीमे हमको समझ में नहीं आया
unreliable. What?
And Vikas
Please
is
raise your
showing,
hands.
please slow your pace. He is unable to understand.
मैम थोड़ा सा धीरे बोले मैम, वो समझ नहीं पाया कह रहा है।
ऐसा इंग्लिश कम आती मैम थोड़ी
Okay. So what are the other disadvantages?
availability of raw material.
Yeah. So this is a very, you can say, unreliable resource. So it will depend upon the season, it will depend upon the day. So when there is daytime, then you can harness this energy. When there is rainy season or there is night, then the effectivity, it gets reduced. So you have to store the energy, and for that you have to make, you have to create or make or install other devices. So we know that the installation costs are high, and we also know that the materials which are used in making up solar cells, these are also expensive. So you require a special grade of silicon which is expensive. So, and also the current which is produced is DC, so you have to AC current, so this also increases the costs. So, and obviously if you want to harness solar energy, then you require expansive land. So छोटे से piece of land में you cannot harness the entire, you cannot harness the energy efficiently. So you need to have expansive stretches of land when you want to harness the solar energy. Yeah, anyone, any question?
And
Who
I'm
was
saying that
asking?
I am saying that it is also depending on region, that we cannot place this solar system in Masanram or any other rainy hill region.
Yeah, very good. So that is also a requirement. Okay, so we will start other resources of energy from tomorrow.
फ्राइडे को है सर, वो सैटरडे को है शायद हमारी क्लास।
हाँ, Saturday
मैम,
को.
Saturday.
2 से 4।
We will end up here.
2 से
Okay.
4 है ना?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you have any
Thank you,
doubt
ma'am.
that you can ask? Thank you for your attention. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Thank you,
No
ma'am.
doubt.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.